Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to take a look at my third rank 4 champion. Now this footage is about a month old. I've just been going through a really busy time. It's been difficult to get videos out, but I did still want to do this showcase, and of course it's Elsa Bloodstone, one of my all-time favorite champions. This is when I last got generic materials. Maybe it was after 9.2 or something, but essentially we had the choice to choose any class, and I didn't have a skill champion yet, and she was really just calling out as the right answer here. Now, you know, I've always liked this champion, and I've always found that when she is the highest rank available, she really does pop off in the short form content. Her damage is quite respectable. She has a very good evade counter that works against all classes. She can get rid of non-damaging debuffs without even doing anything, and she does have that counter attack. She's the first champion that really had the well-timed block counter attack. I sometimes wish that it would stun the opponent like Kate Bishop, but even so, it's really good about getting openings. And the last thing I like about her is that the way her SIG works, the yellow numbers are additive. They're just like a flat amount added to each critical hit. So you are not affected by things like, you know, crit reduction or things like that. Basically, there's not much that can stop her damage, and the fact that it's a combination of yellow and red is quite good. So this first fight is just a little bit of a damage showcase. We have some of her synergies that will increase her damage. I like that she thematically has the synergies with Morbius and Werewolf, where you get the Torment and the Vicious, so it just means your debuffs are going to be doing even more. And just to talk about her general rotation, it's pretty easy. You do light ending combos for the beginning of the fight, and then you throw a special one. What that does is the light enders are going to put the Behemoth Busters on. That increases your damage, and then the special one puts a very large precision buff on you. At that point, you're basically just comboing up to the special 2 with increased combat power rate, and when the Behemoth Busters come back, you're just going to fire them off. And then you can see we've got like 7-8 Behemoth Busters and a bunch of Incinerates, and it adds up. The damage just really adds up. Then you throw another special one, and you can see those crit bonuses on the special one, or anytime we do a medium ender, and you know, most things are just going to die at that point. You know, she's got very respectable damage for her class, even though she's not as current as some other champions. This 1.5 million HP is going to go down in less than 90 hits, and is going to be no problem at all. Red damage, yellow damage, we love to see it, and he goes down. Now next up, we're going to do an Act 9 boss, and this is the OG Spider-Man from 9.2, and we don't have a perfect fight here, but you know, you're not often asked to have perfect full yellow bar solos in this game, and the reason she's so good here is it does have unblockable, and her little counter attack thingy has a good counter to unblockable, because you can essentially parry and get an opening without having to make contact with them and, you know, have him break your block. The other thing is, you know, some people have complained about her evade countering ability because you do need to get evaded one time, but I often find that the way the game works now, you're kind of in controlled situations more than like completely out of control situations. So you can see there, he did evade us quite early, and we were able to basically transition our Incinerates to become Cold Snaps, and it'll be that way for the rest of the fight. They only need to evade one time, and then when you do a medium ender or a special one, it will place Cold Snaps. And the cool thing is, with her Winter Soldier relic, you can actually heavy attack, and it will refresh the Cold Snap for higher potency, as well as just getting it back up to full duration. So one of her issues before was like running out of bullets, and now with the Winter Soldier relic, it really has a very direct effect on being able to refresh those Cold Snaps, which we really like to see. Now, I mentioned it earlier, but one of the reasons I like Cold Snap is it's a debuff. It's not an effect on myself. You see a lot of champions that are like immune to true effects, or, you know, certainly with slow, it's class advantage based, and it is kind of like ability accuracy based at times too, whereas Cold Snap just straight off turns off evade. And, you know, unless there's some kind of debuff immunity or Cold Snap immunity, which is somewhat rare in the contest, I would say, then you're pretty much set to go. Now, the other thing that I like about this fight is that because she has inequity, you can just sort of block things like that and not take too much damage. And she does have kind of like a throw specials and gain a lot of power play style as well. When she's out of bullets, she gets higher combat power rate. And you can just play her with special 1 spam, so those concussions that we were getting on us were also just easily being removed. And we can see there she did perfectly counter that fight. It wasn't a perfect fight, but we do like to see it. Now next up, this is just going to show how fast she can get through a rank 3 health pool in Battlegrounds. Now this champion is running recoil because it's Conflictor, so I do want to just point that out, that this is slightly unrealistic, but I just wanted you to see how often she's critting and how big the crits on the medium and the special 1 are. So they're 18,000. We are not boosted at all here, and we're just landing a medium at SIG 120, and it's hitting for almost 19k. And the special 1 here, you can see also, and when the hits crit, they're going for 14 and 8 there. That's pretty incredible. And now we're just going to be able to combo her to death here, throw one more special 1 with a little bit of overkill. So that just kind of shows you rank 4 against rank 3, how often you can be critting and things like that. And we did get a 52 score. It would have maybe been a little bit lower if they weren't running recoil, but they weren't having any of the damage because of Conflictor. It was just the 2 specials with recoil, which did eliminate 10% of her health, but I think we still would have killed her in the same amount of time. Now next up, we have some old war map fights. I want to show her that on the old Path 5, who knows if Alliance War is coming back in this iteration or not, but if it does, essentially we are going to be showing you how she can get around the intercept node by using her counter attack in order to intercept, and also just how in general she's really good against Titania. If we take any blocked hits or anything like that, we're going to shrug the debuffs and turn them into precisions. So right there, her evade counter does always count as an intercept, and just like before, we're showing the benefit against large champions and science champions. Basically anytime we use a bullet, it's going to be a crit bonus there, like again 17k. We just used our evade counter again. Look how often we're critting. It even helps when you have that precision buff, even the relic, the striker, is going to be critting and things like that. And it's just, these health pools are just being erased by Elsa right now. So next up, we've got Jessica Jones, and she doesn't have anything like cleanse or anything to directly counter her. But if you run out of specials to use, it's not a big deal because her combos are going to be hitting really hard against science champions. Right there, just look, like 3 out of 5 hits are critting. Again, in that combo, 2 out of 4 hits crit. We're just going to bait this. We decided not to punish it at that time. And when you fight Jessica Jones, you really can only throw 2 special 1s before she starts going unstoppable and things like that. But even with this special 1, we've got some 17k crits. Pretty awesome, right? So we are able to throw 1 more special 1, and just, she's basically dead. Like, that's it. Now we just bait this, and then 1 more combo will get her down. So yeah, not the greatest counter against Jessica Jones, but especially if it's only a 6-star, you can see how big those crits are and how big the damage is. And I'm just showing her in a variety of scenarios, right? So finally, we're going to go up against Abyss Thing, and I just want to showcase one more thing with her. This is the Photon Synergy. Now, of course, Photon is a fantastic champion unto herself, and she also has a completely different kit than Elsa, so I could totally see them being in a quest together. But basically, whenever we are doing our counter evade, we're going to be placing a slow, right? Or I think it's any time. I actually don't remember how the synergy works, but just notice how often we're getting the slow. Right? So the slow is going to basically help us deal with all the things that Thing does. Normally, yeah, I think it's just on the counter evade, so it means you can kind of push him a little bit farther. However, you still want to mostly be doing the rock stacks and everything like that. But this is just a big thing from Abyss, and I just kind of wanted to show you her damage against Thing. She typically can be doing either special without triggering his protection, because the protection this is an interesting thing that I learned recently. The way his protection works, it has to do with your attack rating during the hit itself. It doesn't necessarily matter how big the damage number itself is. So because her SIG has the ability of just sort of adding numbers to the yellow number, if that makes sense, it's just like a flat increase to the yellow number. It really will not trigger the protection because you're not doing anything to increase your attack rating, if that makes any sense. So, all in all, we also see that he evaded once, and we are totally fine with that. He's at 14 rock stacks, so we have to be a little careful here. But this is where I'm going to actually utilize the slow, and then we can just keep hitting him, and it's not a big deal. So that's why I brought that Photon Synergy. If we ever got in a little bit of trouble, you can just use your counter attack, and he'll be absolutely fine. Now we can just bait the special per normal, and you know, he's about halfway down. We did one more counter attack because why not? It just makes, you know, if you have rock stack counting errors or things like that, you have like a little safety net to get through it. And that of course will work against evading champions as well. It's kind of nice to know that you can, you know, use your counterattack and it won't be evading in the near future right after that. But anyway, you know, in the past, like, Thing was a difficult solo for her, but now that she's finally ranked 4, we're seeing that, you know, he's going to go down quite easily before even triggering any of the enrage. And I just wanted to point out again, you know, we've got the cold snap, which is going to stop his evade. We've got the access to slow with the synergy. We're going to utilize it again right here. With this passive slow, boom, we can just keep comboing him. It really does keep the flow of a Thing fight a little bit better. And then of course, like I mentioned earlier, you do not ever have to really worry about the protection unless if you well-timed block like we just did, because the way her damage works, it's not increasing her attack rate. Now the real skill is to like actually count your combos with the rock stacks. So that, you know, when you fire off specials, you're actually counting how many hits they are. I've done a lot of special 2s where we've ended up at 14 rock stacks, which is just not the best play altogether. But, you know, the fact that we have our slow, like we just saw there, really makes it a pretty simple fight. So anyway, that's it for now. I'm going to let this continue to play. And just, you know, the way that my roster is shaping up right now, I have 3 rank 4s. I know that a lot of my peers have a lot more of them. But my more casual approach to the game and the fact I haven't spent in over a year. The last thing that I bought in Marvel Contest of Champions was the $25 that I spent to get Beta Ray Bill last June, maybe. It was about a year ago. And I've just decided to completely cut it off. And I think my roster is lagging behind just a little bit. But the fact that we have the Wheel of Fate coming up, it is going to allow me to get a couple more rank 4s in the next month or so. And, you know, I'm absolutely fine with that, especially because I don't really have to rank up for specific reasons. I've really enjoyed having some of my favorite champs like Scream and now Elsa Bloodstone ranked up. And I really don't miss this like competitive edge of the game that much at all. So the fact that I have Elsa now is just a real plus. You did see our special 3. It adds those cruelties, which it does add a little bit, but I find that in the general you don't need to be using the special 3. Because her crits are hitting plenty hard with her Sig ability in these types of matchups anyway. So he's almost dead. We had to trigger 1 Unstoppable, and he didn't go down, but that will do it right there with about a 15k crit. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Elsa is one of my favorite champions. If you were looking for some rank 4 gameplay to compare to, here it is for you. And more content will be coming out soon when I have some new rank 4s as well. So thanks for checking it out, and I will catch you in the next one.